Hi, everyone. Welcome to What's Up Humanity, stories that open minds and hearts. I'm Andra Baylus, your host. This podcast is meant for you to hear the positive side of life, stories of people who are using their gifts, talents, and skills to make this a better world. This podcast is dedicated to the humanitarian philanthropist Mohanji, who encourages each of us to bless the world as he has with charitable organizations in over 90 countries. Please visit mohanji.org. And also to the silent master, Meher Baba, who taught that love is contagious. So these podcast speakers will share how they have themselves blessed the world and have done their part in spreading love. So hope you can catch it and spread it yourselves. So may this amazing story today kindle your heart, inspire the greatness within you. So today's podcast is The Journey Within. We welcome today an engineer, anthropologist, who, discovering her own unique gifts, has become an intuitive consultant and educator, schooled at Weishauer College. Welcome, Mara Spencer.
Hi, Andra. Thank you so much for having me on What's Up Humanity. This is such an awesome idea. I'm so glad I met you.
Thank you, Mara. You know, Mara is very, very humble. I'll read a little bit of her bio. She has a background in the sciences. I call them sciences. They may call it arts. But Mara holds a master's certificate in project management from Stevens Institute. She has an MS in engineering and information management, George Washington University, and an MA in anthropology and administrative archaeology, University of Arizona, and a BA in anthropology and geology in University of South Florida. In addition to Mara's rather lofty educational background, because of her unique offerings, Mara has also been interviewed by TV, radio, and newspaper in a number of states around the country. So I'm going to read what Mara had sent to me, and these are her words, actually, so I'll read it to you. She says, my love of archaeology has enhanced my passion for adventure, exploring cultures, religions, and lifeways with a sense of appreciation, openness, and acceptance. I live boldly, tapping my inner resources to put my inspirations into action, applying my past experiences to empower my present and magnetize my future. With degrees in anthropology and engineering, I have worked in computer systems, contract negotiation, financial, and project management, gaining experience in diverse perspectives. Everyone is unique with special strengths and experiences. I believe we each have our answers within, which sometimes get buried in everyday world of life. So knowing what you want and being involved consistently in your life are two keys to finding solutions. I help people connect to their inner feelings, innate strengths, unique style, and life purpose. It is exciting to inspire someone to unlock the magic of their creativity to meet life's challenges. So with that, I find that fascinating, Mara, again, that you have such an incredible background in all of these sciences, archaeology, geology, engineering. And I'm just really wondering, with all of this being grounded in the field of sciences, how in the world did you ever get involved in what I will call an intuitive journey?
Well, my intuitive journey started when I was a small child. And like other children or some other children, I had an imaginary friend, but he was not imaginary to me. I could see him, I could hear him. I was an only child and the youngest kid in the neighborhood. And he was really there to play with me, to helped me learn things. He was like my rock when things happened and they scared me or I got stressed. And so it was very important. And then throughout my life, as I was growing up, I had these experiences where I would have dreams that came true, or I would know something before it happened. I could see the colors around people and I would color them different colors because that's the way they looked. And people would say, no, that person's not blue. And I said, but they are blue. And people just pounded on me. And as I got older, they kept saying, this stuff isn't real. You're crazy. You've got to stop this. And so it's like, I kind of shut it down, but the experiences kept coming. And sometimes when I really get myself in a mess because of my decisions, I would feel this presence around me that I felt was helping me get out of whatever I gotten myself into. And I wanted to learn more about that. And when I was especially when I was getting my master's degree, my first degree, I was successful by society standards because I'd been really pushed by my parents to play the game. But I knew I wasn't really doing my life purpose. And I knew that I wasn't going to be able to stay on the planet if I didn't really find my life purpose and find a way to move that forward. So that's when I really began searching.
So thank you so much, Mara. I appreciate you explaining that. There are a lot of people out there that will be watching the YouTube or listening on the Anchor by Spotify who've had similar experiences. And so I think it's very important that somebody with your background, your intellectual background, your background grounded in science, who is openly saying that this has happened to you and it's very real. And I do believe that I think that, things are changing in this world. I think we are more tapped into the concept of energy and electrical energy emanating from people. I also understand that it can be emanating in nature. We call it the aura, AURA, that some people are familiar with the light and the colors that come from this particular energy. I know, Mara, since 1974, you've been giving people what you call the spiritual facts of life about your adventure here on planet Earth. I love the way you say adventure because it certainly is an adventure. So you lead workshops, you offer courses, you do one-on-one consultations, and you lead groups. And I understand that you teach 5 main concepts. And I'm wondering if you might be able today to mention some of those key concepts and perhaps maybe share some examples of how you inspire people and empower them.
I would love to. The foundational concept is we are energy. And when I was growing up, some people call that love. So you talked about Meher Baba and some other people wanting to spread the love. Well, each of us is love. And so as long as we're radiating our true essence in our aura, as you mentioned, then we are spreading the love. And some people call that energy the life force. Other people call it the soul. Whatever it is, that is the real us. And I am not my body. My body is like a vehicle. It's like the metro or my car or something. It allows me to be involved in planet Earth because it's my anchor here. And I need to take care of it because, if you don't maintain your car, then it's going to break down on you. And this is the same way with our physical body. So in a sense, my body becomes a cosmic tuning fork of where my energy is. So when my energy is tapping from the real me and I'm connected to the source or the universe, God, whatever your belief system entails and whatever words you use, then I'm full of light, I'm full of love, and I'm on course. When everybody has tendencies. So, when I have a tendency or something, that can cause me to pull in. And if you think about a time you were in a big city and, there's big tall buildings and you're walking down the sidewalk and all of a sudden you're about to come to the corner of the building and you pause and somebody goes ripping by. Well, whether you knew it or not, you sense that energy coming. You may not have done it consciously and you paused. That was because you were relaxed and that energy goes way beyond the physical body. Another day, if you're really tense and you're, in your head thinking about something that's happening in your life or something, then you're going to smack right into that person. So we have a lot of control over what we attract in life because we're constantly sending out energy and we're constantly receiving energy. So whether we are projecting for something specifically, our energy is attracting whatever the energy is we're pulling out. So whatever's happening in my life, I've attracted that. And if I don't like it, I can change it. And if I like it, I can create more of it.
It's so interesting. You're using a vocabulary that most people don't use. You're talking about the concept of energy, and we just talked a moment ago about the energy that's emanating from the individual, but we haven't necessarily talked about how this energy maybe sets up a certain frequency, and this frequency that actually reverberates out into the world attaches to others that are functioning and at that same frequency. I'm really wondering, and this is interesting, why you feel that these concepts that you're sharing with people are important, especially in today's world. We do live in a very materialistic society, at least here in this very affluent nation of ours. But I'm wondering why you think it's important today that you feel that people need to know about these things.
Well, our energy doesn't attach to other people, but other people receive it, whether they're aware of it or not, and that causes an attraction. But it's important because part of what I went through that I shared earlier about needing to find my purpose was I had been so grounded by my parents and other significant people in my life into the material world that I didn't understand that that's really secondary. That's just a vehicle for me to learn and grow. And it's really that world of energy. We live in two worlds. We live in a world of energy, which we can hear without ears, we can see without eyes, we can sense, whether we're doing it, whether we acknowledge it or realize it or not. And that's really the important thing because we're here on planet Earth for a purpose. And that purpose is an energy, or if you like, a spiritual purpose, or some people, depending on their background, may call it part of God's plan. However you want to do it, that's why you're here. And the people who, in a sense, live long and prosper, as Spock would say, are the ones that have found that purpose, even if they can't put it into words, and they're consistently doing it. So they have a reason to be here, and they have energy to be here.
Mara, thank you. When we're talking about energy and you're talking about the material world, one of the things I have read about is this material world functions with our five senses primarily. And so it's what we can see, what we can feel, what we can hear, what we can touch. All of those are our senses. But what you're talking about really taps into what people refer to sometimes as the sixth sense, if you you will, where you are, you're, as you said earlier, you're sensing things that without the eyes, without the ears, without the physical senses, but there's a knowing that comes about. And I think every human being, whether they want to believe in this type of thing or not, is functioning with it. And I find it very interesting that somebody with your scientific background, again, with all of your master's degree and all of these areas, again, is talking about these types of energies openly. I'm wondering, I know that you consult with people and you help them. I'm wondering if you could maybe share one or two examples of how this type of information can actually help people.
One of the things I do is I give what we call an orientation lecture to give people a bigger picture about living in these two worlds and a number of other things that we're going to talk about in the 5 main principles. And also we do some really fun techniques that help it bring it home, which is one reason why I love Wayshowers College, is because it's all about learning techniques that I can apply in my everyday life to be more successful at how I'm directing my life. And the other thing is that, if anything's happening in my life I don't like, I can change it because I can change myself. And when I change myself, I change what I attract. And what you talked about, the 5 senses, the material senses we talk about, there are that 6th sense we break into 4 different means of perception. One of them we call our gift of prophecy, which is that inner knowing. And we have all 4, so people will recognize themselves in different ones. But one of them is our main means, and that's how we tend to present ourselves to the world. And it's also the sense we need to use to make major decisions. So the prophetic just has an inner knowing, and they don't know how they know, they just know. And they have a really big picture of life. They have the ability to sense other people's potential and give them opportunities to reach that. So they're like the outstanding executive in the material world. And the material world is important because it's where we learn and grow. It's like the school of planet Earth or the University of planet Earth. And then another one is the gift of vision. And vision are those people literally sense and think in pictures. It's like they have a motion picture going on in their mind's eye. And pictures, symbols, colors are super important to them. And if you really want to communicate effectively with them, you need to either show them a chart, a graph, a picture, or paint them a picture with words. The third one is the gift of intuition. That's like our inner leadership. It's our inner authority. It helps us set our boundaries. Like, okay, I begin here and end here, and you begin here and end over there, so that we can mind our own business. And these people have really quick mentally. They size everything up into a word or a concept. They're very compact and succinct when they speak, and they're right on target. They really know how to direct energy like a laser beam. And then the fourth one is the gift of feeling. And these people are really sensitive to all the feelings of all these auras in their environment, as well as kind of the aura of cities and other locations. And it's really important for them to know where they begin and end, or they bring this other energy in and think it's a part of them. But it's very easy for them to sense where they need to be. They can really tune into the flow of energy and see how their energy fits with that and which flow to get into. So again, we have all 4 of these. We're using them all the time. We just may not be aware of it.
You know, Mara, I find what you say very fascinating. I know when you talk about visual, you know, as a teacher, we're taught about how people learn, and there are visual learners where they would rather have you draw a picture, see a picture. There are also audio learners, you know, where they prefer hearing, and then there are kinesthetic learners who really need to touch things to be able to learn. I'm interested in what you said, particularly about the sensitivity of some people to pick up other people's energy. I remember it was once explained to me that sometimes you could have a tremendous sense of well-being, and you would be on an airline and sitting in a plane next to someone, and all of a sudden you feel depressed. Well, this is what it's important for people to know. Is this you? You know, you're feeling really good, or are you picking up something from the person next to you? So I think it's good to have these heads up experiences and to have this type of knowledge because it helps us to be able to distinguish who we are. And as you said, we do have certain boundaries, but sometimes we do pick up energy from other people and we may not even be aware of it. So I think these things, you know, are definitely important. Earlier, you also mentioned something about attracting things. And sometimes if we don't like what's in our life, you know, just change our thoughts and our ideas. I'll just share a quick little experience that I had, Mara. Happened many years ago. Things were becoming very negative. And it was getting increasingly more and more negative, and it was getting frightening, to be quite honest with you. And a person that I deeply respect said, Andra, why don't you write down on different pieces of paper something that brings you joy? So I did. I wrote down maybe 15 strips of paper. I put it in a little case and I took it out and I began reading it and all these different things that brought me joy. Do you know, Mara, my entire world changed. All of that negativity absolutely disappeared. So when people talk about that, you know, I have had personal experience, and that's why I'm sharing it with the folks who can hear this or see this, that sometimes your attitude makes a tremendous difference. And so if there's a time of depression, I know that for me, sometimes you listen to beautiful music, it lifts you, it touches your heart. So there are techniques, as you said, you've learned in the Wayshower College to be able to help us in our time of need. So I find that very, very interesting. So Mara, let me ask you, again, having had your background and now getting involved in intuitive counseling, what would you say has been the biggest challenge you have had to face? And how did you overcome it? What steps did you take to be able to overcome that challenge?